Hey lunatics, what's up? It's the Silent Reviews here, coming at you guys with my 205 Live and NXT reviews. What do I say about both shows for this week? Well, let's see. 205 Live, we had Drew Gulak versus Humberto Carrillo, and we also saw Ariya Davari versus Oney Lorcan in the main event. Then on NXT, it was announced that Johnny Gargano, the NXT Champion, will be taking on Roderick in the main event. Also, the Street Profits took on the War Raiders in a non-title match. I thought this was supposed to be a tag team title match, but it was a non-title match, and it ended up being one of the best tag team matches on NXT TV all year long. So we'll talk about it. So getting into 205 Live, Drew Gulak opens up the show with a hype reel position, talking about how he'll be coming for the Cruiserweight title after he taps out Humberto Carrillo. Nigel McGuinness is out for this week, so David Otunga joins the booth. And now we get into the match, Humberto Carrillo over Drew Gulak. It was towards the end of the match where Carrillo, he's fighting through the pain. Drew Gulak is trying to put him into this Gulak. Carrillo fights back, channeling his speed to swing momentum in his favor, scoring a handful of near falls. He comes back with an eyelash of securing victory when he connects with a picture-perfect missile dropkick. Exhausted, both superstars traded strikes, but as Carrillo left off the ropes for a springboard kick, Gulak caught his leg and applied an ankle lock, forcing the Mexican superstar to desperately kick his way free. Gulak attempted a superplex, but Carrillo countered one last time and executed the Aztec press to secure a hard-fought victory. And I like the move that Carrillo does to finish off his opponents. He literally does a springboard moonsault while he's on the rope, and he just twists his body, and it's really cool looking. It's kind of like a shooting star press in a way, but from a springboard position, so it's really nice. Gulak picks up, Carrillo rather, he picks up the win over Drew Gulak. Afterwards, Oney Lorcan, he gets a promo about how he's been training for over a decade to come to WWE and become a champion. Ariya Davari stands in his way, but once the bell rings, all he cares about is hitting his opponent as hard as possible. But lucky for him, that's the kind of fight that he likes. Davari comes back and he gets a match-up promo about his success since changing his attitude and the undefeated streak he's running all year. He doesn't care who it is, nobody's going to keep him from becoming the next Cruiserweight champion. Drake Maverick is now chatting with Maria and Mike Kanellis backstage when Brian Kendrick rolls up. He blames Maria for his boy Tozawa losing last week, but he says Akira had better look in the mirror. Kendrick again says he just wants to talk and Tozawa can do his own fighting and he was just a distraction anyways. All of a sudden Tozawa jumps Mike Kanellis and he beats him down, so the referees Mike Chioda and road agent Sanjay Dutt pull him off. And you get into the match. Hi, Rainey. We get into the match. Victory in sight. Lorcan attempted a half and half on the top rope, but Davari showed his resilience and countered, but could not follow up with a successful splash. As Lorcan charged into the corner, Davari laid in wait before delivering a super kick that led to a Persian Lion splash. And wasting no time, following up, he executed the hammerlock lariat and scored the pinfall, earning his opportunity to challenge Tony Nese, who, by the way, was outside as well. He was ringside watching this match, looking to see who was going to be his next contender for the Cruiserweight title. But now we're going to be seeing Ariya Davari versus Tony Nese for the Cruiserweight title in the near future. Don't know when it's going to be announced, possibly at Money in the Bank on the kickoff show. Since the WWE just loves putting the Cruiserweights on the kickoff show, they'll probably just put it there. And after the match, Tony Nese applauded Davari before extending his hand to show respect. Davari kept his eyes on the Cruiserweight title, but Nese remained confident in the face of his new challenger. So really nothing special on this week's 205 Live, but, again, it was a good show. Much better than Raw, to say the least, because the only good thing that happened on Raw was the triple threat match with Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and AJ Styles, and then whatever else happened that was good. Literally nothing else. Oh yeah, Bobby Roode's mustache. Those are the only two good things that happened on Raw. Bobby Roode's mustache, the triple threat match, and then also Cedric Alexander versus Cesaro. Those are the only three good things that happened on Raw, and two of which were matches. Jesus, man. Oh, God. NXT, man. NXT fucking great. The ongoing rivalry between Johnny Gargano and the Undisputed Era added new layers Wednesday night on the WWE Network as the NXT Champion battled Roderick in the main event. The high-stakes profile main event was supported by the return of the War Raiders, or the Viking Experience, or the Viking Raiders, whatever the fuck you want to call them. I call them the War Raiders because that's what they were known for in NXT. But people who know them from Ring of Honor know them as War Machine. So I just refer to them as War Raiders better than fucking Viking Experience or Viking Raiders or War Experience, whatever the fuck you want to call them. They are known as the War Raiders in NXT, and they should be going by that on the main roster, but they can't. A tag team challenge laid down by Vanessa Bourne and Ariya to Candice LeRae, and 205 Live's Humberto Carrillo took on Jackson Ryker of the Forgotten Sons. What went down in those bouts and how will the outcomes can affect the show going forward? Find out with this recap of Wednesday's broadcast. So, first match, we got Humberto Carrillo versus Jackson Ryker. The Forgotten Sons' Jackson Ryker, accompanied by Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake, he battled popular 205 Live star Humberto Carrillo in the night's opening contest. Ryker was aggressive from the get-go, clubbing away his smaller opponent. Carrillo survived the onslaught and rolled to the floor. The fight continued out there with Ryker pummeling the opposition. He sent him into the barricade, then over it. Eventually, the referee called for the bell and it deemed a double countout, but the beatdown continued until Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan made the save, and a six-man stare-down ensued. Looks like we're beginning a tag team match next week with Humberto Carrillo, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch against the Forgotten Sons. Ryker and Carrillo fought to a double contest. Now, the Forgotten Sons and Lorcan and Burch, they have history, but the inclusion of Carrillo is interesting, if only because he is a rising star at 205 Live and he has no reason to be involved in the program. This sets up the six-man tag match for next week, or at some point in the near future, whatever it is announced. But with Lorcan and Carrillo excelling elsewhere, it would appear as though the victor of said bout would be obvious, especially considering the fact that Forgotten Sons are figured to be a major part of NXT's near future. Candice LeRae and Kacy Catanzaro versus Vanessa Bourne and Ariya. The newly minted Bourne and Bougie, Vanessa Bourne and Ariya challenged Candice LeRae to find a tag team partner and battle them Wednesday night. She did seek out former American Ninja Warrior star Kacy Catanzaro, who, by the way, is dating Ricochet, if you didn't know that. Catanzaro overwhelmed Ariya early, but the veteran of NXT grounded her and quickly tagged in Bourne. The heels isolated the smaller of their opponents, working her over before a double neckbreaker to the heels allowed Catanzaro to make the hot tag. LeRae comes in, she explodes into the match, unloading on both Ariya and Bourne. A step-up senton and a second rope moonsault moments later earned the babyfaces the victory. And it looks like, I don't know, it was talked about in the past, but, you know, if Candice LeRae and Kacy Catanzaro is going to stay as a tag team, you can much probably see them challenge for the women's tag team titles down the road. Hopefully it's not against the fucking Iconics. Hopefully it's another team, a way better team, maybe like Asuka and Kairi Sane, being that they're a tag team now, or whoever else, Beth Phoenix and Natalya. I don't know, but should be interesting. There may not have been much of the match, but this did what it set out to be. It wrapped up LeRae's rivalry with Bourne and Ariya with a victory. It also spotlighted Catanzaro, a performer with enormous upside who has repeatedly impressed her with new raw athleticism when given the opportunity. Bourne and Ariya feel like a team capable of making greater contributions to the brand. Yeah, I highly doubt that. But it has been apparent for quite some time that the only heels NXT is interested in building it is a women's division are Shayna Baszler and Code Hearts, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir. War Raiders versus the Street Profits. This was possibly the best tag team match all year long, TV-wise, in NXT. I love this, man. War Raiders came out, they did their entrance, and then while they were making their entrance, Street Profits came out, or they came out prior, and while War Raiders making their entrance, out comes fucking Montez Ford. He literally jumps over the cameraman, jumps over the top rope, jumps over the cameraman, and he takes out both War Raiders with an incredible tope suicida, or the tope cone heel, whatever the fuck you call it. The senton over the top rope, the front flip, and I tell you, man, he gets so much air. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. Just like when he does his frog splash, he goes like 10, 15 feet in the air. Literally the amount of height this guy gets when he does a frog splash is insane, man. This guy needs to shine as a single star someday. He really does. Montez Ford is absolutely impressive. Fantastic individual, fantastic superstar. He's great. The War Raiders, Hanson and Rowe, NXT Tag Team Champions, battled the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, in a non-title match between two babyface tandems. Ford wasting little time, soared through the air, and wiped both champions out before the bell. The Street Profits capitalized on the momentum, controlled early, but were unable to put away the title holders. A big lariat from Hanson to Ford halted the underdog's momentum, though, and allowed the champions to seize control. The Street Profits mounted a comeback that saw Montez Ford revitalize a hot tag from Dawkins, unload on both Hanson and Rowe. Unfortunately, despite tremendous athleticism and agility, Ford succumbed to a pop-up power slam that allowed the War Raiders to escape with the victory. Again, man, this was just fucking awesome. This was a hell of a lot of fun. You know, both teams impressed, primarily the Street Profits, who were taken seriously and allowed to look like a threat to Hanson and Rowe. In fact, recent matches with the Forgotten Sons and the departed TM6-1 have proved Ford and Dawkins have the inbreeding ability to become a top tag team for NXT. All they need now is just an opportunity. This was a step in the right direction as they were booked strongly here. The right team went over when it all said is done. That could prove to be a stepping stone for an incredibly charismatic tag team desperately seeking a chance to excel at the next level. I already said it before. Street Profits are going to be the future of NXT, tag team-wise. You know, now that War Raiders are called up, once they drop the titles to whoever, whether it is the Street Profits or it's Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, or it's Undisputed Era again, whoever. There's no doubt in my mind, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits, they're going to be tag team champions. As soon as they came in as a tag team, I knew right away. I'm like, those guys are your future tag champs right there. And they're going to be the next big tag team that they have in NXT. Well, not just in NXT, but in WWE as well. Once these guys get called up, there's no doubt in my mind, they're going to be a fucking top tag team. Just like Heavy Machinery, just like Ricochet and Aleister Black, who are now separated. But still, you get the drift. So this is fucking great. And this also felt like a takeover worthy match. Just the way it kicked off with Montez Ford just jumping onto both War Raiders, and then he just right away the match started, and they hit their signature neckbreaker from the top rope, and then Montez Ford does his incredible fucking frog splash, nearly taking the victory within a matter of minutes. And the War Raiders kick out, man. The crowd went insane here. It just felt like a takeover-worthy tag team title match. And we could possibly see these teams again at the next TakeOver event in a more static match, you know? It could happen. But, you know, I'm just glad we got to see it, and it's just fucking great. I can't wait to see what more these two teams do in the near future. This is going to be great. Just like you got to praise the tag teams in NXT, you got to praise the NXT champion, Johnny Gargano. The man never fails to impress. Johnny Gargano is the fucking future of WWE. Every time he has a match, he's always fucking delivered. Just like Seth Rollins, just like AJ Styles. They always deliver. A week after Roderick Strong perpetrated an attack that ended with the Undisputed Era standing tall over NXT champion Johnny Gargano, the Messiah of the Backbreaker battled Johnny Wrestling in Wednesday's non-title main event. The match started competitively, each exhibiting strong chain wrestling. Gargano fired off the first flurry of offense, but with a half Nelson suplex from Strong on the apron turned the tide into the heel's favor. Strong maintained control until the action spilled to the floor. But at one point, the NXT champion countered a wheelbarrow suplex attempt with an arm drag that sent Strong to the steel steps. He would later follow up with a slingshot spear, but could not keep the former tag team champion down for the 3 count. Gargano loaded on Strong. Appearing on his way to a victory when he got greedy and the heel countered another slingshot spear with a butterfly suplex backbreaker. As Gargano tried for the Gargano escape, Adam Cole appeared for a distraction. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly joined in, but Matt Riddle made the save. And you wonder why Matt Riddle made the save. He had a little confrontation backstage with Adam Cole. Adam Cole was doing a photo shoot, and Matt Riddle was just standing there saying that I guess he was next. And Riddle got in Adam Cole's face. The both men just got into each other's faces, and they just started talking trash. And looks like they're going to be feuding, I guess, so that's going to be good. And I guess it made sense here for Riddle to come out, since the rest of the Undisputed Era tried to intervene into the match. So Riddle comes to Gargano's aid, and as Gargano, I says here, as Gargano tried for the Gargano escape, Cole appeared, the distraction. Fish and O'Reilly joined in, but Matt Riddle made the save. With the official distracted, Cole accidentally blasted Roderick Strong with a super kick, thinking it was Johnny Gargano. He takes out Roderick Strong. Strong is dazed. He doesn't know what's going on. Gargano hits the slingshot DDT to score the victory. Gargano and Strong could wrestle every week for the next year, and it would fucking be great. With that being said, the storyline developments back into the single match were great. Riddle joining Gargano in his War of Undisputed Era elevates the original bro himself. Strong and Cole not being on the same page hints at a potential breakup between Undisputed Era and sets up their individual undoing. Now, there are several interweaving stories for NXT to build on, which should help the show establish an identity now that Gargano Ciampa saga is in the rearview mirror, and it looks like we're going to be getting the continuing saga of Undisputed Era and Johnny Gargano, particularly Johnny Gargano, Roderick Strong, or Adam Cole, rather. So we're going to be getting those two continue with their feud, so yeah. So there you guys go. There's your NXT and 205 Live result. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, favorite, arcade like button out of nowhere. Tap the bell for notifications. Go check out my SmackDown Live review right here. I just put it up so you guys can check it out. And I will see you all tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. We have a big show coming. Well, I wouldn't say big, but pretty much all that was announced was that Alexa Bliss is having her moment of bliss, and she will be announcing the competitors for both the women's and the Money in the Bank's, the women's and the men's Money in the Bank ladder matches is what I meant to say. So should be interesting, and I'm looking forward to who they're going to be announcing for the match. If they don't do Andrade, Cien Almas, and Finn Balor Money in the Bank for the Intercontinental title, do not be surprised that these two will probably be added into the Money in the Bank ladder match. But we'll see what happens, guys. So until then, I'll see you on the next one. Too sweet.